Everyone aims to have a roof over their heads. Everyone also wants a dream home. But do you dream of owning your own home island? Well, a third-generation Indian origin businessman in Seychelles, Sunil Shah, has turned that very same dream into a reality. WION caught up with the Shah family on a trip to the Indian Ocean country. Take a look.
Imagine owning an island in the sun. An island thousands of kilometers from anywhere. An island in the Indian Ocean's turquoise blue-green waters with powder sand beaches and enveloped by nature. Sunil Shah and his late father Anand Shah, AJ, not only dared to dream that dream in the Seychelles, they achieved it. But before their story, the story of the Seychelles. It's an archipelago of over 115 islands scattered over 1 million square kilometers of sea in the middle of the Western Indian Ocean. The Seychelles may be Africa's smallest country, smallest population, just approaching 100,000, and possibly the world's smallest capital. But straddling key sea lanes in the Indian Ocean means the 150-island archipelago can punch much higher than its weight category. Seychelles is about 3,800 kilometers southwest of Delhi and 1,500 kilometers east of mainland Southeast Africa. Its strategic importance lies exactly in this, its location, the western seaboard of the Indian Ocean and its closeness to mainland Africa. The 43 core granite islands sit on a mini-continental shelf, a plateau that split from India 65 million years ago. The Seychelles, though, hasn't split from Indian connections. About 8% of the population traces its roots back to the subcontinent. The uninhabited islands were first spotted in 1502 by Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama. The French claimed the islands in 1756 and named them after Louis XV's finance minister Jean Moreau de Seychelles. Britain then took over till independence in 1976. The population is a mix of the descendants of original European landowners, African slaves, Indian and Chinese traders and plantation workers. Creole reflects that mix in the people, language and food. The average Seychellois earnings is $28,900 per year per person, according to the CIA World Factbook. That figure places it 68th in the world in comparison to India at 156th, with a per-person average earning of $7,200 annually. The Seychelles is mainly a popular tourist destination. The National Bureau of Statistics recorded nearly 350,000 visitors in 2017, an increase of 15%. 13,500 of these foreigners last year were Indian, up 20% over 2016. Tourists not only bask in the eternal summer of the Indian Ocean, but contribute to preserving the unspoiled nature of this cradle of biodiversity.
We must look after the attributes that bring tourists here, that the tourists come here to see. We must make certain that they are protected, which is why half of our limited landmass has already been set aside as nature reserves, parks and marine parks.
Within one of those protected marine parks is third-generation Gujarati origin Sunil Shah's enchanted island resort. We set off with the Shah family from Eden Island in the Seychellois capital, Victoria. Sunil and Babita and two of their three children, Sanjana and Vishal, have been intrinsic in the development and upkeep of the luxury resort island project. Mr. Shah's grandfather came to the Seychelles from Mandvi in Kutch, Gujarat in 1864. Mr. Shah's maternal grandfather was an architect involved in Rajghat, the IIT Powai campus, the Jahangir Art Gallery and RBI buildings in Mumbai. And though Sunil Shah worked with his father AJ, Anand in running one of the top accounting firms in the Seychelles, in 2013, Mr. Shah Jr. found his inside calling in first acquiring an island and then developing it into a premium luxury resort. A 15-minute speedboat ride takes us past pleasure yachts of the rich and famous, developing villas on Victoria, the Seychelles capital on Mahé Island, the country's largest, windmills that generate renewable power, and ships that bring in much of the country's trade. The first glimpse of Enchanted Island hardly gives away the 8 villas on the boutique island resort, managed now by Dubai-based JA Resorts and Hotels. The villas have been built around nature rather than through it.
You know, with a thing of immense beauty comes immense responsibility. The whole mantra now is, I say that the moment someone steps onto the island like you did just now, 2 things should happen to this person. He or she should feel that he or she is in the Seychelles in terms of the architecture, the landscaping, the general ambiance, the look and feel, you know, your senses. And two, this person should now feel that he's gone back in time, not in the Seychelles of today, but in the Seychelles of the 1930s that my father was born into. So everything that you look around, you see around, there's antique, we've got over 100 pieces of antique furniture. All the artwork is local, there is no mass-produced artwork. We've commissioned local artists to do our artwork.
The restoration done in India?
The restoration was done in India. The architect, who is a very well-known architect in India called Tony Joseph, he said, when we were talking of the design, he said, Sunil, there is no architect on this planet who can outdo the beauty of this island.
Once we hear it from the horse's mouth, Sunil Shah's children, Sanjana and Vishal, who are already involved in their father's passion, walk us about the island. 8 private villas are all named after local flora and fauna. Sunil Shah also has a passion for restoration, art and antique posters picked up in auctions around the world. A limited edition commissioned rare artist proof, AP bronze tortoise, watches over the main infinity pool, which seems to stretch out into the sea and is designed to point in between the 2 nearby islands. Up to 24 guests have their own private paradise and beaches to chill out on. The villa rents range from 600 euros to over 3,000 euros a night, about 45,000 Indian rupees to nearly 1.5 lakh Indian rupees a night plus taxes. The price for paradise gets these breathtaking views from the owner's signature villa. 2 bedrooms split over 2 villas with direct access to 3 beaches, a lounge with private indoor and outdoor living spaces. Its 243 square meters have the best views on Enchanted Island. Though the beaches here are private land, Seychelles law makes all beaches open to anyone from the public. Of the 43 inner and 72 outer islands, reports count at least 17 privately owned islands in the Seychelles. The government now only enters into long-term leases with developers based on their plans that have to get official approval. Reports suggest some owners range from billionaire Arab princes to Russian oligarchs. Next door to Enchanted is WION Island. Exhausted after years of reporting in Africa, a Yorkshire man, Brendan Grimshaw, bought the 1 kilometre wide 22.5-acre island in 1962 for just £8,000. He lived for over 40 years here till his death. The journalists willed it to the government to be held forever as a protected reserve. In true Robinson Crusoe style, he hired his own man Friday, a Seychellois called René Lafortune, and transformed it into a habitat for 120 giant tortoises and 2,000 birds who flock there, as well as his dogs, who can still be heard barking joyfully in the water. Dennis Private Island was managed for a couple of years by India's Taj Group. It was bought in 1975 by a French paper magnate and taken over by Mason's Travel, a local ground handling operator. Bird Island is owned by local pioneer of ecotourism Guy Savvy, who bought it in 1967. It's managed by his sons for the last 2 years and is reported to have once had Indian origin Parsi owners. Though the selling price of most islands is kept deep underwater, Daros Island made news waves when France's once richest woman, L'Oreal heiress Liliane Bettencourt, sold it in 2012. Forbes quotes news outlets as saying the winning bid was between 60 and 94 million US dollars. A Geneva-based non-profit group, Save Our Seas Foundation, is the owner of the island that was once under the then Iranian Shah Pahlavi's family. Ms. Betancourt reportedly bought it for $18 million in 1997. Areed Island is a special nature reserve owned by a UK conservation charity. Pioneer reservationist Christopher Cadbury from the chocolate manufacturing company bought it in 1973. The natural beauty of the islands draws in buyers including billionaire Arab sheikhs and Russian oligarchs. In the past, the archipelago's isolation drew pirates and buccaneers in the 18th century who, as myth has it, buried much treasure there. While most of that is still hidden, in 2018 there's much modern treasure to be found here. With Surendra Singh, Amitabh Revi in Seychelles, WION.